Hey all, Tracy Novick from the Worcester School Committee. I never really got back to a December update after our last meeting, so I thought I would do one quick here before we change month and year at the same time. I know that really kind of the topic that's probably tops on everybody's mind right now is the change that's coming to the school schedules. I don't want to say too much about that. I've seen drafts of it. I know a bit about it. The principals, though, are going to be rolling that out to parents and students and teachers in more detail if they haven't already. If you have more questions or want more information, the meeting that we have on the 7th is really the best place for that. As most of you know, I think, as Superintendent Benenda mentioned in her announcement, the State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education voted at their December meeting to pass emergency regulation changes, which which put into place very specific numbers of hours and regulations around there needing to be synchronous instruction every day of the week. So obviously, because of our asynchronous Fridays, and also particularly for the secondary in terms of the amount of time per day of synchronous instruction, there will be some changes coming. They'll be rolling out on the 11th. We have to have it done by the 19th. So that's something of which you'll be hearing more, as I believe everyone is aware, but just, want to highlight again, the winter sports season has been canceled. Frankly, the numbers just got too high. We got recommendations from our medical advisory that we should really be canceling. As some of you might have heard if you heard the city press conference late last week, 1 out of every 4 person who is tested at a Worcester site is testing positive, and that just means there's a huge amount of coronavirus in the community. That obviously, I will anticipate the next question, obviously does raise questions, I think, in many people's minds about whether or not we'll be actually going back on the 25th. I don't want to, say more than I know on that, other than to say that if you're asking the question, we're asking the question, the superintendent's asking the question, the mayor's asking the question. So don't think that that's something that we're missing. It's obviously something that's of grave concern to us. And that, of course, is before any bump that comes from gatherings that people may have decided to go forward with over Christmas. And then, of course, worrying things like the new varieties that are coming out of the UK and so forth. A couple things from our last meeting that I did want to mention. We did finally settle our number for FY21 for this budget. That gave the school committee the experience of yet again getting to vote a $16.6 million cut, which, as if you were watching the meeting, you could probably tell thrilled us all. There is a bit of good budgetary news in that the House and Senate overrode Governor Baker's veto of the $53 million line that is aid directly for school districts for the FY21 school year. That will come out through the department directly to districts. And it does have a progressive funding system, which means that low-income districts like Worcester will receive additional aid. Obviously, there'll be more to come in terms of what exactly we'll be doing with that. And it is only a 1-year bump. So keep in mind that, as I've already mentioned a couple of times, the question around FY22 and actually rolling forward with the Student Opportunity Act implementation is still to come. We did also have a brief conversation around admission at Worcester Tech, because the state right now is looking at regulations around admission specifically for the regional VOTEX, but that always is a bit of a flag in terms of the vocational system in general. And we do have an admission system for Worcester Tech. It has been flagged. As you might remember, we're one of 6 districts that got flagged last year, specifically around English learners. We've had some conversation around special education in the past, and we've also just had some conversations in the past around demographic reflectiveness of the district. So that's going to teaching, learning, and student supports, and I expect that we'll be hearing more about that. It's really one where we want to make sure that we're ahead of the state rather than playing to play catch up. We did, of course, also have a conversation around our homeless students. We know that we have 2,000 about homeless students. We are sure that there are more because families that are essentially bunking with another family, students who are couch surfing, those sorts of things actually also count as homeless. And particularly during the pandemic, of course, that's of really grave concern to us all. So something that we'll be continuing to discuss and continuing to try to work on. Although much like many things we talk about in the school committee, the answer is obviously larger than the Worcester School Committee. We will be, I think, picking up the pace in terms of the discussion around the next budget. Usually that particularly kicks off in January. We're kind of jumping right from one to the other this year because of the way that the budget cycle worked. We obviously need to start having implementation of the Student Opportunity Act because we're frankly losing ground. And if this year didn't demonstrate the massive inequities around funding, perhaps more potently than anything ever else has, I don't know what ever will. So that is what I know. As always, if you have questions or if there are things that you think I should know, please be in touch. I hope that students and teachers and families are all getting a chance to not worry about your Wi-Fi and not worry about what the next link is on Meet and not wonder whether or not your devices are charged. I hope you're getting a chance to relax and unwind. Classes pick back up online on January 4th. And of course, we are here if you need us. Please, if you can, stay home. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are able to stay safe. If you're going out, please do wear a mask and let's do what we can to try to keep the rates down as low as we can. Thanks very much.